I think we just need to get past the holidays, and my sister's birthday is in January. So I think we're feeling like once we get past those milestones, I know the first year through all those milestones is going to be difficult. But I know that was a very stressful 7 weeks for our family. I think she also mentioned the support from the community. We were very fortunate. We ended up having a dramatic amount of support. Like, we were so overwhelmed with everyone being so helpful. As far as donating food, gift cards, because of the number of people in the family. I know when we were during that time, there were so many kids in the house, they were all sleeping over because nobody wanted to miss the phone calls from the hospital. You're kind of at their mercy. You don't really know when the nurses are going to call you. So we would also be on standby. So I would be cooking like breakfast, lunch, and dinner for like 14 people every day. So but that was something that for me, it was helpful for me to be helpful. Saying the more helpful I was, the better I felt, and I felt like I needed to be there for everybody. That was sort of my role. I'm sort of the project manager of the house. And before that, I was always like the cruise director. I'm the one that has to make things. I like to make things fun and make good memories for the kids and that sort of thing. So that kind of continued through this process. But we were fortunate that we had nurses that were very, very caring and very supportive of the fact that we couldn't be there. One nurse in particular, she actually would FaceTime with us while Jennifer was on the vent. Jennifer was obviously in a coma. She wasn't able to communicate, but the nurse was willing to FaceTime with us and also share. We would record voice recordings and send over music playlists. And so when the nurses went in the room, they knew to unlock her phone and hit play, and they would play any voice recordings that we had put in up until that point. And let Jennifer listen to those while she was in the coma. So we were very much pushing for optimism and sending out positive vibes. We had so many prayer chains going around. We actually we had 2 convents praying for Jennifer. So that was something. One convent was the week that she went in there, and my sister's like, "We've got a convent praying. That's pretty good. That's like a direct line to God." So she felt really happy about that. So the support was just really amazing. And I think anyone out there that is experiencing this, just be willing to accept the help. I think sometimes people don't want to ask for help. I didn't want to ask for help in the very beginning either. And I ended up doing a meal train because we were struggling. And it was just hard to get motivated, and you didn't want to spend too much money feeding everybody every day. But I did a meal train, and that was a very successful meal train. I think people feel helpless because they don't know how to help you. And feeding you is just something that really people makes them feel good because they can feed you and bring something over, or even sending a gift card over. A lot of people would do like a DoorDash or a Uber Eats, and they would send the meal over because it was obviously during the quarantine if you didn't want to have contact. But that was a huge blessing. Our church family was amazing, and they really wrapped around the school age kids. And some people brought gifts over for the little ones. That was very thoughtful. But there's other organizations that reached out to us as well. There's a mortgage assistance program that helped my brother-in-law at that time. He was unemployed at the time this was all happening. So it was a huge blessing. And it makes me now want to be helpful to others. So I feel it's important for me to pay it forward, because now I feel like I'm past that point where I really needed to be lifted up. So it makes me feel better to lift others up during that time for them.
Was there a big financial impact besides the medical costs?
Yeah.
Did Jennifer work at the time that she became ill?
She did, and that was hard for Henry because she was Henry had just left a job and started his own business, and then 3 weeks later COVID hit and he lost all the contracts for his new business. So he was eligible for PUA assistance, but still hasn't received it, and this is November. So he's still in the process of working that out and hoping that will work out. But Jennifer also was the primary insurance carrier. So when she passed, he lost health care for him and the kids. That was a huge struggle. And there's still bills that are outstanding from her hospital visit, and just trying to navigate all of those, and all that medical debt. That's so we're still working on that with him. And it is when it's a spouse, I know that, like, there's things that they did and things that you do, in the house, and then you have to pick up all that stuff. So I've been trying to help Henry, and she was the mom, so she did a lot of stuff as far as taking care of. Like, he's never had to shop for the kids. He never did the grocery shopping. He actually didn't pay the bills. Like, he said that he always, Jennifer used to joke with him, like, you'd miss me if I was gone. And he's like, she's totally right. Like, I never believed her until it happened. So he very much has an appreciation for everything that she did to keep the house running and keeping the kids, everything they need to do. So that's, for him, it's been, he's grateful for the fact that she was all of those things for him. And now he really appreciates it as a parent. We're past our 6-month mark. She's on the left. Didn't have that opportunity, and they're very much still suffering that lack of closure, or they were not able to have a memorial service, or they weren't able to have a funeral. You're not able to grieve the way that you normally would within a community. So those are things that are really important. If they have the opportunity to do that, have that closure. I think as far as closing information, I was going to say, reach out for help if you need it. This might be a time that you need counseling that you have never done before. It's okay to not be okay. That's a very true statement. I hear that all the time, but it really is. It's okay if you don't get stuff done around the house. Like, I know that I'm not nearly as motivated to take care of things that are not a priority right now. But I know it does get better. I'm not all the way there yet, but I know I'll learn to move forward with my pain.
Thank you so much for sharing that, and yeah, I really appreciate it. And it's so brave of both of you to be willing and able to do this. I think there are people who are not even able to share it because it's too hard, and it's so motivating to hear that it does get better over time. And I wish both of your families that it will continue to get better over time. And if there's anything that you can think of that the online community can do, let me know, that we can sort of support that and get the word out. So anything else from you, Pamela?
No, I think I said everything I needed to.
We did, okay. Okay, I think we can.
I have one last thing. For those of you, for anyone who has not experienced it but want to support, if you don't know what to say, empathy is always important. I think just sometimes understanding that it's difficult for someone and being understanding of the pain that they're going through, even if you don't have it personally, just be empathetic. That's something that I think a lot of people are missing right now.
Okay, and that's important to get that out.